Today, we're talking about the Natural Resources Conservation Service and how the agency can help cattle producers improve their land and resources. It's important to remember that conservation planning can also help recover land that's being threatened by invasive species. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter takes us to a Utah ranch whose partnership with NRCS helped improve their rangeland resources.
Just outside Utah's Zion National Park, brothers Eric and Klein Esplin are carrying on the family heritage of ranching in the rugged environment of Mount Carmel.
My grandpa, Roland, had his homestead, originally homesteaded here. And my grandpa was pretty aggressive in his day, and he's put together pretty much the nucleus of what we have today. There's lots of challenges with cattle ranching in Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel is in the southwest part of the state. Very popular area as far as people coming to visit it, but that also is a challenge. We're in a 12-inch precip zone, very rugged country, and I'm very proud that we're able to harvest and put this arid land into production.
In this country, water is what controls everything, and then having feed near the water. The challenge was developing better grass species near the water and developing the waters, getting that piped into areas that would support cattle.
Growing feed near water was especially challenging for the Esplins due to invasive trees that were overtaking their grazing lands. They looked to their local NRCS field office for help in developing a conservation plan that would help reclaim their pastures.
These pinyon and juniper are very invasive. I mean, as you'll notice behind me, there's one little or two little trees right there that are growing, and before long there'll be 3 or 4, and then 4 or 5, and maybe a few more. They can just crowd out anything, any vegetation, any grass. And so it's really kind of a challenge to control them, just to give our grass a chance, grass and other species a chance. But they're very aggressive.
We started with the Esplins over 20 years ago, I believe, in our conservation planning. So we first figured out what are your objectives for this land. They had some really invading juniper, which creates this bare ground, sheet and rill erosion, and what can we do about that? How can we help them? What kind of planting and seeding for range should we do? Recommending those things that would be viable for a very long period of time to help treat the land and heal the land.
Once a plan is in place, it just really helps us because we have expertise is brought in that we don't have access to, just left to our own devices. And they're able to help us to know what sort of treatments are available, what sort of things had ought to be done, and then we can just bring a number of partners to the table that all want to benefit from this type of a treatment. And so we're able to all coordinate on what the desired goal is. So all of that put together moves us forward in getting these things on the ground and established.
With a plan in place, the Esplins quickly began to see many improvements in the overall ecological balance of their rangelands.
The short term, it's been really interesting to see, just even after a year. It was very nice to see that you indeed have these grasses coming in, crested wheatgrass, the intermediate wheatgrass, as well as a bit of clover and other legumes, which are a really important part of the diversity in the mix. And then right here around me, it's been about, I think, a 10-year treatment, and you can see everything popping back. And actually the diversity here is quite great. You also see natives coming back. You've got some of the native brush, which is still okay for great forage and a great working ranch.
Once you can remove those trees, it is just amazing the amount of production that you can get from those areas. Once those trees are gone, get some hybrid grasses in there that will utilize the moisture earlier in the spring, and then they'll hold through the summer into late fall. It just makes for a way to be able to use land that has traditionally never been used in cattle or any type of production like that. And then I think what's interesting also is we'll see the wildlife just follow right into these same areas. So I think we're benefiting the erosion problem, the production, we're helping wildlife. It's just an overall benefit all the way around to treating some of these grounds.
Well, I think this is a great example of how this is going to be sustainable. This is a very sustainable system as we have it right now. It has helped with holding back erosion. It has helped with any kind of water holding capacity. The diversity of the above ground plants also helps the diversity below ground in the soil biology and the soil health. So it's really helped create that whole system and a more holistic approach that's going to be long-term a good thing.
Conservation has long been a proud part of the Esplins' heritage and one they intend to carry on through their partnership with the Natural Resources Conservation Service.
NRCS can help ranchers. Don't be afraid to work with them. They make it better. They're here to work hand in hand with you at making these ranching operations more sustainable and more productive and viable. So give it a whirl if you haven't tried it before, because they will help you. I know in our operation, it's changed the way we do things for the better.
Our relationship with the NRCS has been really beneficial to not only my father's generation, but our generation, and we have worked with them quite extensively. We seem to have a personal relationship with our local people, and that's what I think is where things really benefit. When we're able to know them personally, we can sit down at the table with them personally, we can go over a map and they know our ranch, and we can say, this is an area that we haven't gotten much use out of, but we think there's great potential there. When you have that personal relationship, then that's when good things can happen.
NRCS, of course, wants farmers and ranchers to be successful. It's helping people help the land, and by helping the land, you're helping people. We're a voluntary agency that helps with private landowners across the country develop conservation plans with our technical assistance and with science-based tools and planning processes. So we actually have most of our people are out in the field and in the counties helping plan and working with ranchers and farmers to do really the good science work. We work on working lands, and that's really important to us to keep those lands sustainable and working with conservation.
It's just neat to just see the land blossom and to just see it improve. I don't know if there's any better feeling in the world to just look out and say, I made that better, and that's going to be better for many generations, and so it's great to be a part of that. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Reporting from Mount Carmel in southwestern Utah, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.